This is Jay Worth, the Encourager. Never stop believing. I'm telling you, you have to believe it. It's inside of you. It's what you feel. It's what you need. It's what you do. If you can believe it, you can achieve it. Just keep going. Press your way through. Can you believe in what you can't see? There's so much more that's going on inside of you. And the seed that's inside of you, you have to water it. Don't you believe it? If you can press, if you can believe, I assure you, you'll never stop believing. Hey, this is your host, Juanita Ward. Today's show is sponsored by EarthBlendCoffee.global. You can use the link in the description box to place your order. I am super excited that you are back for another edition of Never Stop Believing. I am excited that you are here, and I'm so excited that I have the opportunity to share this platform with my host, Jimmie Lucas. How are you, Jimmie?
Hey, I am doing well. Thank you. Humbly. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. You know what? You're the first person that said humbly welcome. That is an awesome thing.
Right.
Listen, I'm so excited that you're here. And we are just, illuminating so much.
Right.
I mean, it's like the light is just oozing off of everything that you're doing, everything that you're touching your hands to. And the show is talking about never stop believing. Right. Jimmie, I know we have had numerous of conversations, numerous of talks, right?
Right.
And the thing that I know about you is that you are a man of war. You are a man that truly never stops believing. There's been so much that has happened, and I'm so excited that you get a chance to share that today. Mm-hmm. Let's jump right into it.
Okay.
Tell me a little bit about the times that you never stop believing. And here's the thing. We have moments and times in life where sometimes things get us down. But what happens when you feel that faith is all lost? What happens when you feel that there's nothing else you can depend on? What happens when you feel that everything that you thought you had is now gone? That's when you got to get back up. That's when you have to keep believing.
Right.
And that's the reason why you are so key to never stop believing.
Right.
Talk a little bit about that.
Well, again, I just truly thankful you allow me to be on today. But, it's like all throughout life, right? Every step of, there was a time when I grew up, my stepfather's a minister. So I've always had religion a part of, my makeup. But there was a time that I lost all faith in God. I lost all faith and, I stopped believing, at one point in my life. And I didn't want to continue. I didn't want to continue life as I knew it. But it was just that thing, right? There's like you just alluded to, there's always that little small burning flicker of a flame that burns inside of you, and you're like, no, I have a purpose here.
Yes.
And so instead of giving up, I was like, no, I'm gonna go figure out what my purpose is, and I'm gonna go from there. Yeah.
And so when you lost faith, when you lost your hope, mm-hmm. What did you have to, piggyback off of? Like, what did you have to push you and motivate you when you lost that? Because as a man, when you lose hope, it's like everything crumbles down. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, that's good, because even back then, my generation coming up, I don't have the feel good story of grew up poor and didn't have a father and didn't have this, those type of things. I wasn't. That's not my story. Mm-hmm. All right, I had two fathers, I had three grandfathers, I had great grandfathers, uncles. I had many men in my life, but they were always taught, and how they taught us is that you don't have any emotions. All right, you can't show emotion. You can't say, you can't cry, you can't say I'm sorry, you can't love, you can't hug. So you just get up, go to work. Bring the money on, right. Groundhog Day all over again, right? Right. You don't have time to feel sorry for yourself, right? Mm-hmm. And so I struggled with that on those moments that I felt sorry for myself. I felt bad, I felt down, and I struggled with what to do.
Right.
Where do I go to overcome that? Where do I go to get over that? I like we self-medicate, right? But my self-medication was basketball, was sports. So I threw myself into working out. I threw myself in just to have that little place of peace.
So you mentioned and you bring up a great point, because sometimes what happens is when we get knocked down and we don't know how to control those emotions, we go into a frame of mind of, okay, what else can I do to keep me from going off the deep end? What else can I do to get me to see that there's something greater? What else can I do to help me control the emotions on the inside of us? And for you, you said that it was overcoming with basketball. So basketball was your, okay, let me go self-medicate. And my self-medicate was whatever I do on the court, Watch out,
Right.
because I'm gonna knock you out, right?
Right.
And so, what would you say to some young guy out there that's struggling with emotions, that's struggling with trying to figure out who they are, that's struggling with an identity of trying to understand like who they are? Like, what would you say to that young guy?
Well, first thing I would say is just own it. You have to own those emotions, and you have to understand that asking for help is a strength. People try to make it seem like asking for help is a weakness, but asking for help is a strength, right? That shows how strong you are if you have the courage, right, to go and ask for help.
You know, you bring up a good point. We have to ask.
Right.
If we never ask, how do we seek?
Right.
If we never ask, we never knock.
Right.
Because I'm so reminded, like, I love the word ask, right? Because you have ask, seek, and knock.
Right.
And when you ask, you're receiving an answer, or you're going to try to find an answer of something that you don't know. And when you seek for that or search for that, you're trying to find something inside of a place that you don't really have the answer to. And so what do? Do you keep knocking? Or do you allow that problem to take you away? Do you allow that problem to drain you? Do you allow that problem to knock you down? What do you do if you don't ask? And you mentioned this. You said you have to keep asking. I want to talk to somebody today because I want you to know this. That just because you didn't get the answer that you want doesn't mean that you stop searching. Just because you didn't get the answer that you needed doesn't mean that you stop searching. No does not mean no. No means next opportunity. And if you believe that, I need someone to write that into the description box. No means next opportunity. When you don't get what you want, you never stop believing. When you get knocked down, you never stop believing. When the towel was literally about to be thrown in, you never stop believing. Yes, you had men in your life to teach you. And they taught you about capabilities.
Right.
They taught you about communications. They taught you about, conversations. They taught you about commitment and staying consistent. They taught you all those things.
Right.
But one thing that you was lacking was, I would consider to be the most important thing, was emotions.
Right.
And so now, having to find those emotions,
Right.
take us through a time where, had you just known yourself a little bit better, you could have gotten back up.
Well, I do want to say this real quick. Never stop believing, right? Faith. Okay?
Yes.
And the Bible teaches us that faith without works, right?
Yes.
So ask, seek, knock. Those are all what? Action words.
That's right.
Right? It says faith without works. So you have to ask. You have to put it into action to get your answer, right? You have to knock. You have
That's
to put
good,
it into
Jimmie.
action
That's
to get your
good,
answer.
Jimmie.
Right?
Come on now.
Right? Faith without works. I think a lot of times, like for me, for example, I didn't understand that. I thought that I could just sit back and wait on the Lord.
Come on now.
Right? I thought I can just sit back and just hold on
Come
a
on
little
now.
while longer, right? But it wasn't until I understood that, no, I have to go communicate. I have to pay a cost for something,
Yes.
right? I have to go do something, right? And once I started doing my part, and then the Lord came back triple-fold, right?
Did you hear that? Now, you can't run over that. You cannot skip over that.
Right.
Once you started to do your part.
Right,
See, God is going to do his part.
right,
And we believe him for that. When you started to do your part, how many times do you hear people say, Jimmie, I can't come and work out because, I have this going on.
Right.
Or I can't meet you there because I have this going on. Well, you say you want to be better.
right,
How can you, with the answer, give someone that don't have the answer if they don't do their part?
So, by action. Again, by action. You have to show them. Well, number one, show, and most importantly, get them to understand why they're doing it.
Wow.
See, a lot of us don't understand why we're doing it.
Ooh,
Right?
come on
A lot
now.
of us think that we work out because we want to lose weight. Well, no, that's not why you're doing it. That's a part. That's what happens as a result of working out. But the reason why you work out is because you want to see your kids graduate.
Come on.
Right? That's why you work out. The reason why you work out because you want to see your son walk down the aisle and get
Come
married.
on.
Right? The reason why you work out because you want to be a grandparent. You want to be a great grandparent.
Come on,
That's
healthy
why
life.
you do it.
Come on, healthy life. Come on.
Right. That we missed that part of it. Right? We missed that part of it. So,
You bring up a good point. Why do you do what you do? Why do you do these things? Is it just because you want to make sure that somebody else sees the fit how you are? Is it just because you want to make sure that somebody sees, that you have it all going on and your body is all together? And you just talked about it. Why do you want to do these things? To stay healthy, to make sure that you get a chance to walk down that aisle, to make sure that you get a chance to make it to the graduation, to make sure that you get a chance to see what the future is going to hold. Because if we're unhealthy in the state of not having the right words, not speaking the right things to ourselves, I want you to encourage somebody and tell them why it's important to live a healthy life.
Well, the reason why it's important is, like what I alluded to, right? Your why. Okay, define your why. All right, when you define your why, I promise you everything around that will go into eating right, will go into getting enough sleep, will go into just protecting your heart, right? Because that's also a part of health
Yes.
and wellness, right? You have to protect your heart, you have to protect your spirit, right? You have to work out and encourage your own spirit, because
Yes.
sometimes that gets down,
Yes.
right? That all encompasses one thing. So it's not just physical fitness, right? But it's also emotional fitness,
Yes.
right? There's also mental fitness, because we're in a state right now where all the uncertainty is going on. Like, mental health is a real thing right now,
Yes.
right? And if you don't understand that part of it, and you all, like, if I just went to the gym every single day and worked out, yeah, you could see it physically. You can see when you walk up to it, but like, dog, you look kind of fit. But inside, I'm deteriorating, right? And that's where we are right now. So that's my why. Right? You talk about my why. That's my why, is to get people to see themselves from the inside out. And sometimes that's ugly.
Yes, right. And our ugly scars bring about a beautiful butterfly. Our ugly
Exactly.
scars bring about a beautiful opportunity.
Right.
And how is this important for you? Like, how did this help you? I mean, I know you served, right? And you served our country. And 100% thank you so much for your work that you have done for us and our country. Thank you so much for your protection, for protecting us and making sure that we're safe.
Yes.
How did that help you to never stop believing?
It was in my wheelhouse of helping, of serving, right? Since I was a kid, that's the thing I've always wanted to do, was serve. And I wanted to start by being a police officer. Like, that was my thing. Well, I wanted to be a detective, but then I heard that you had to be a police officer first. So I was like, I don't want to wait that long. So let me just go to the military, right? Well, I can put it in and do it right away. But that's my life purpose. That's my why. It's service. Right? It's service.
It's having a servant heart.
Right.
You talk about the why. You talk about the servant's heart. You talk about the reason. Take me down that journey.
Okay.
Take me down that road of saying, you know what? I want to do this, but it didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to turn out.
Right.
I wanted to be in the military. I wanted to be in detective. It didn't turn out that way. Elaborate a little bit more.
I would say, so this is not mine. This is God's, right? So I'm not going to take any credit, okay? This is God's. But he showed me my grandmother, right? He showed me my great-grandmother. He showed me my Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., it being Black History Month. He showed me just the things that our ancestors had to endure, right? And as this country was being built. And it hit me like, who am I to complain? Right? Who am I to not make a sacrifice? Who am I to not be able to get up 30 minutes early to better myself after what our ancestors endured, after what Dr. King, did? Like, if it wasn't for him, he's the reason why we speak, right? He made it possible for me to be able to be a motivational speaker, right? So why would I not take literally advantage of that, right? It's selfish of me to have an anointing inside of me and not allow other people to see that light. That's selfish, right? And there's a lot of people out there. You have that anointing in you. You have that will in you. You have that you can be. We so busy worried about trying to be the next.
Come on now.
Come be the first.
Come on now.
Right? Don't. I mean, plan B, right? You want to have a plan B. Why? Plan B just messes up plan A. Right?
Everybody trying to get to plan B and plan C.
Right. We start plan A already thinking about it failing.
That's right.
And not focusing on, hey, you know what? This thing just might actually work out.
Right.
If I stay committed, right? If I stay consistent.
That's right.
Right? If I just keep going.
That's right.
Right? I always say, like, you've come this far, why stop and wallow in it now?
Ooh, you just said a mouthful. You come this far, why stop and waddle?
Right.
You've come this far, why wait? You've made it this far. Don't stop. You have to believe in yourself. Jimmie just said, why throw the towel in when you're almost there? The only thing you need to do is take the towel and wipe your face. You've come this far. Don't stop. You've come this far. Don't give in. You have to believe in yourself. Never stop believing. It is a declaration. It's a decree. Listen, today's show is sponsored by Earth Blend Coffee Global. If you would like to get a description, use the description box. If you would like to get one, use it in the description box. We'll be right back after the break.
Footprint Farms is a beautiful 68-acre vegetable and cattle farm located in Jackson, Mississippi, and is Mississippi's largest urban farm. The mission of Footprint Farms is to provide the community access to healthy food choices, introduce our youth to agriculture, and provide training and technical assistance to small farmers and ranchers. The farm is open to the public every Friday from 2:30 to 5:30 p.m. to purchase fresh produce or visit us at the Mississippi Farmers Market located near the fairgrounds in February. We accept all forms of payment, including EBT and SNAP benefits. Looking for a beautiful venue for your next wedding, family reunion, or dinner? Footprint Farms offers a 3,000 square foot facility on 5 beautiful acres, perfect for your next event. For more information, visit our website at footprintfarms.com, Facebook and Instagram at Footprint Farms, or call us at 601-910-5534. Footprint Farms, farm fresh, city sweet.
Advertise on WeBelieve.global, a brand new digital media platform. Share your brand with our audience on our many global live stream TV broadcasts and over the radio. For more info, visit WeBelieve.global or call 800-492-5186, option 1.
Today's show is sponsored by EarthBlendCoffee.global. You can use the link in the description box below. As we were talking, faith is so important. Never stop believing. It's the why. I got a quote for you, Jimmie, right? Okay. So it says, faith speaks to our destiny and tells it what the future will be like. Now I can say that a little bit different because I want you to elaborate. Okay. We were talking about this during the break. Right. Faith speaks to our destiny and tells it what the future will be like. I'm going to say it another way, right? Okay. So faith speaks to our future and tells the future what it's going to be like. Yeah. This reminds me so much of a scripture that I heard. Before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you, which means there's a predestination before there's a destination. And also too, Jeremiah 29:11 talks about this. For I know the plans that I have for you, plans of good and not of evil, to give you a future and a hope. That quote there is so key. Right. Faith speaks to our destiny and tells it what the future will be like. Or faith speaks to our future and tells our future what it will be like. Mm-hmm. What does that mean to you?
I could go all over the place with this because it just means so much. This quote resonates with me loudly. Yes. And I hear the unconscious saying, again, alluding back to Dr. King, right? Dr. King knew he had the faith and he knew what his destiny was and how his future would be. Right. And like you say, the Bible, right? Faith without works, right? Have the faith of a mustard seed, right? Never stop believing. Okay. It's all about faith. And because our lives are predestined and pre-planned. Yes. Right. Going down and taking a left when you're supposed to take a right. It's already been written that you're going to do that. Right. The thing. So what I want to tell people though is like you may have taken a wrong road, you may have taken a wrong path, but don't get discouraged, right? Don't get discouraged. That thing that continues to burn inside of you, that thing that you keep going back to, that you hear in your voice, your unconscious say, "Hey, I want you to go do this," and you're like, "Nah, that's not me. I'm not gonna do that. Right? I'm gonna go do something else, right?" And then 2 years later, it's still there. It comes back up, right? That's faith, right? That's the never stop believing portion of God doing it for you on your behalf. Right, and so this quote means that, for me, it means that my faith determines my future. Right, so whatever I believe today, that's what I will be in the future.
Come on, Jimmie, come on. Whatever I believe today is what I'm going to be in the future, which means the words that we speak frames our future. The words that we say shapes our future. So faith speaking to our destiny. What are we saying? Faith has to tell our destiny what we're going to be. But here's the thing, we have to believe it. And you said this, we have to put action behind what we believe. If we don't put any action behind what we believe, now who controls the situation? We're just laying dormant. Right. And that's the thing. You didn't lay dormant. Right. You saw to yourself, you know what? I have something inside of me that's greater. I have a seed inside of me that's greater. I wanted to be a detective, but they told me that I needed to be a police officer first. Right. So in order for me to actually become the detective that I wanted to be, I had to become a police officer. Well, when that didn't work out, What did I do? I went to be in the military.
Right.
I went to go in and serve in the country, which I would say is top notch, right? It's top notch.
Right.
And you kept believing, but you put action behind what you believed.
Right. So if I'll share this with you. So this is, people see the book, 7 Seeds of Success. What they don't see is that I wrote 3 books before this.
Come on now.
I have 3 books that I wrote before this that I never published. I wrote them, paid to have them published, paid for 50 copies of each one, put them in a box and put them in storage. The only person that benefited or that bought it was, of course, my mother, right? Right? She gonna support it, right? Either way, right? And so it was because not that I didn't have the faith that I was capable of writing a book. The reason why I didn't, it was because I didn't have the faith that people would read it. All right? I didn't have the faith that people would like it. Right? So I was scared. I feared of failing than I feared succeeding.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Did you just say that you had the fear of failing and you had the fear of succeeding?
Right. I feared failure more than succeeding.
Wow. Explain that, because that's awesome. So you feared failure more than succeeding.
Right.
Wow. Explain that.
Right. So there's the failure part. All right. So we all fail at something at some point. Right. And then you get down on yourself. Right. And become depressed. Right. Then others that may have been counting on you, then they are down and depressed. Right. You feel like you let them down. So it's easier to stay in my comfort zone. Right. It was easier for me to stay in my comfort zone than it was for me to come outside of that and people actually be like, hey, that's a great job. Because I feared that more people would be like, that's horrible, than it would be like, that's a great job.
So you feared the words of what could have been said, not what was actually said.
Right.
So here we have again, you had faith. You had faith in what could have been said versus having faith in what is and what was said.
Right.
So what you did with your ability was you took your gift and you put it inside of a box and you put it into a storage. Right. How many times do we take our gift and put it inside of a box and put it into a storage? Why? Because of what somebody else may say. How many times do we take the gift that's inside of us and put it away because we're thinking about what someone else may say and how someone else may respond? Let me tell you something. If there is ever an opportunity where you can believe in yourself enough to speak words over yourself, every single day I tell us, speak, I can, I will succeed.
Right.
I can, I will succeed. It is a declaration, it is a decree to never stop believing. What is the worst thing that can happen? Right. You get hit with a no. What's the worst thing that can happen? Somebody say they don't like it. Well, guess what? The vision that's inside of you is not the same vision that's inside somebody else. Right. Somebody over in Timbuktu need that book. Somebody overseas need that book.
Right.
And that one door of opportunity will open if you don't lay your gift dormant. That one door of opportunity will open if you don't lay your talent dormant. Don't be like that one person that laid the talent dormant. Be like the other two that said, you know what, I'm not going to bury my gift. I'm going to multiply my gift. And when I multiply my gift, I'm going to make sure that my gift makes room for me. Because that's what it says. Right. The gift will make room for us.
Right.
How many times are people afraid to step outside of their comfort zone?
Yeah, absolutely. And think about this. The same energy that it took for you to say, I can, I will, exact same energy it takes to say, I can't, I won't.
Come on now.
It takes the same energy. Right?
So you got to choose which energy you want.
Exactly, right. It's the same energy. Well, what happens is that we have become this instant social media, reality TV society.
Come on now.
To where you want it now, right? So because people they want to be happy, right? But what they have to understand is that happiness is about happenstance. If something good is happening to you, then you're happy.
Come on
But
now.
when something bad happens to you, then what? You feel bad. But when you have joy...
Come on now. Come on.
I ain't gonna start preaching or nothing like that.
Come on,
but
Jimmie.
when you have joy, when you have internal joy, it doesn't matter what happens to you. It doesn't matter if somebody doesn't like it. Because there's 6 billion people in this world. So every 3 billion people that said no, there's 3 more that's gonna say yes. You know what I mean? So you have to have joy, right? Because joy is internal. So it doesn't matter what's going on around you. The chaos is going. It's the eye of the tornado, right? That's where joy is, right? Happiness is outside the tornado, right? Joy is inside the eye, where it's calm, where it's still, where it's peaceful, right? So it doesn't matter what's going on when you have joy. Yes.
Man, that is so good. It doesn't matter. How many times have we been inside of a tornado?
Right.
Right? All chaos is breaking all around us.
Right.
This is basketball, right? So when
Right.
we've played basketball before, and so we know this phrase, control chaos.
Right.
Control chaos. How many times have we been in a situation where we've had to believe and control the storm inside of us?
Right.
Because there's so much going on around us, and we have to control that. But we got to do something.
Right.
There's an action that has to be taking place, that we have to do something. And I like what you said here in your book. So it's the 7 C's. And you said this one thing. One of the 7 C's, it's 2 things I want to talk about.
Okay.
But one of the 7 C's is confidence.
Right.
We have to have the confidence within ourselves to control the chaos that's going on around us.
Right.
Explain a little bit about what that means to control the chaos by having confidence within yourself.
You almost got to have you have to have like a delusional confidence about yourself, right? So don't get confidence mistaken with being cocky or conceited,
right.
right?
That's
Because
right.
it's not the same, right? But it can be viewed as the same depending on the lens of the viewer.
Wait,
All right.
you're not going to run over that, Jimmie. You're not going to do it.
Right.
Confidence can be considered cocky or conceited,
Right.
all depending on the lens of the viewer, that person. Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Come on, elaborate on that.
Right. So go back to social media, right? I can take a vacation to the Gulf Coast, right? And I'd be posting pictures, the kids, just happy and go lucky. If I go on social media and see my best friend taking a picture of them in Jamaica, now my confidence I had, if that'd be like, look at him, he's just trying to show off, right? He just conceited, he's just trying to show off, right? He didn't have to do all that. But, at first, before that, I was fine, right?
Right.
Right? So that's it, right? But also, you have to have, like, so I'm a delusional Cowboys fan. Every year, I think the Cowboys going to win the Super Bowl.
I'm a delusional Cowboys fan.
Right? So that's the delusional confidence that I have about the Cowboys. And that's how you have to believe about yourself. That you just have to be so far. I mean, just take you for example, right? From Callaway High School to Syracuse, right? At some point, like, people may have been like, "Oh, you're not gonna make it to the NBA. Oh, you're not gonna do that," right? But you had that overwhelming delusional confidence in yourself to say, "No, that's my destiny," right? And I don't care what you say. I don't care what that looked like, right? Even becoming a minister, right? I'm pretty sure you've had people say, "No, you probably shouldn't become a minister," right? But you had the confidence in yourself, right? You knew that what your future was, right? You knew what your destiny was, all because why? You had the faith.
Come on now.
Right, because you had the faith, right? You are now able to walk into any lane that you ever wanted to walk in, right? And that's where as a people we're missing, right? We're missing because I don't see the people that are in my circle doing it. That means that I can't do it, right? That's like, and those people will say that are in our circle, they'll say you shouldn't do that because people fear their own imperfect life, and so they put those fears and aspersions on top of ours because they fear. Jay-Z said one time that he showed his uncle, his uncle listened to his song, and his uncle said, "You'll never sell 1 million records." And he was like, "What are you talking about? I sold 1 million records like 1 million times." Right? Right? So that's it, right? So he just had that confidence in himself. Like, you mean I'm not going to sell 1 million records? I'm going to sell 1 million records 1 million times, right? And you have to have that in life, right? But I'm going to just say this, you can't do it alone.
That's right.
You can't do it alone.
That's right.
All right. Number one, you have to have the creator first and head of your life.
Yes.
And number two, you have to have an accountability partner. You have to have somebody with you. You have to have a circle of friends that if they're not heading in the same direction or they haven't already made it to where you are, you need to change your circle.
Come on now.
You can't be the smartest person in your group.
Come on now.
You can't be.
Come on
You cannot be the smartest person in your group.
See, Jimmie, listen, man, you talking, man, because if you were the smartest person in your group, then why do you need anybody else?
Exactly.
It's no need to connect with other people when you feel like you know it all.
Right.
And you hit on so many points. The reality is this: Einstein could not be Einstein had he not had a mentor to help him see who he was.
Right.
What?
Right.
Oh my God.
Right.
Einstein could not be Einstein
Right.
had he not had a mentor to see who he was. What are we saying? If nobody sees who you are, then how do you see who you are?
Right.
If nobody can water the seed inside of you, how do you see what the seed is inside of you? A flower cannot grow to its full fruition if I don't water the seed, if I don't trim the leaves, if I don't pluck out the negative and the nasty weeds that's trying to entangle with that flower. See, a flower has to come to its fruition. Why? By somebody else taking out what should not be there.
Right.
That's what we have to do in our life.
Right.
We have to believe
Right.
in what's important. And what's important is the vision that God has given you. He's also created a provision for it.
Exactly.
There's the plan that he has there. Our destiny is predicated on how much we're going to put the action behind the work.
Right.
Because if we don't think it, we will never have it. So as a man thinketh, so is he.
Right.
If he does not believe in himself, or she does not believe in herself enough to see that dream come forth to its full fruition, there's no way in the world that that dream is going to become a blossom tree. There's
Right.
no way in the world that that business is going to take off and that business is going to succeed. We have to believe. You hit the nail on the head. Jimmie, I had so many people to tell me that I would never succeed.
Right.
I had teachers. I had people to tell me. I had coaches. I had so many people to tell me I would never succeed.
Right.
I would never. I had people to tell me, why don't I just bang my head up against a brick wall?
Right.
Because of the confidence that I have in myself. The reality is this. Nobody can tell you what you are supposed to do but God, because the Creator, the God Almighty, has given you the strength and the power to do so. One thing I do know is that God has not given us a spirit of fear. He's given us a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. And somebody needs to hear this today. When you have that power, you are motivated and you're encouraged. And when we come back, we're going to continue this. Today's show is sponsored by earthblendcoffee.global. You can use the link in the description box below. Just place your order. We'll be right back after the break.
SocratesGarrettENT.com is a diversified firm specializing in recycled aggregates and crushed concrete. SocratesGarrettENT.com's recycled materials provide the construction industry with significant economic and environmental benefits by recycling clean concrete rubble into M.Dot grade rock materials. Recycled aggregates and crushed concrete can be applied to driveways, road construction, bank protection, parking lots, general bulk fills, and more. By using SocratesGarrettENT.com's crushed concrete products, anyone from homeowners to general contractors can help reduce landfilled concrete waste, conserve natural resources, and gain significant economic savings on materials and disposal costs. For more information, please call 601-896-0084 or visit us online at SocratesGarrettENT.com. SGECOVIDSolutions.com is paving the way forward for a safer city government delivering cutting-edge biosecurity and biosafety protocols developed internationally by top virologists and scientists using an all-natural cleaning solution, killing COVID-19 on contact like no other product on the international market. For more information, please call 1-800-281-9080 or visit us online at SGECOVIDSolutions.com. Let SGECOVIDSolutions.com provide innovative rapid facilities testing and world-class state-of-the-art biorisk safety protocols for all of your coronavirus needs. Call 1-800-281-9080 or visit us online at SGECOVIDSolutions.com.
Advertise on WeBelieve.global, a brand new digital media platform. Share your brand with our audience on our mini global live stream TV broadcast and over the radio. For more info, visit WeBelieve.global or call 800-492-5186, option 1.
So, as we were going into the break, I was so fired up, Jimmie, I'm telling you. And I believe this. God has given us the power to do so much. It is the words that we speak. It is the drive that we have. It's a determination that's on the inside of us. It's the willpower that we want. What do you want? What do you need in your life? You have the power to do so by the words that you speak, by the actions that you put behind it, by the things that you say, by the things that you do. What are you doing that's given that specific fruit? What are you doing? What words are you speaking? Stop looking at somebody else's life and trying to make it yours. Your life that you have is the best life that you can have. Somebody else had to go through a sacrifice to get where they are. You mentioned about staying in your lane. It's important. See, had you jumped outside of your lane and became that police officer determining to be a detective, you would have never known that military was what you were supposed to do. You would have never known that this was who you were supposed to be. And who you were supposed to be, the person that God has created you, was to go out and be a protector and a provider for this world.
Right.
You would have never known how not to stop believing had you went into somebody else's shoes. The lane that you were in is the lane that is for us. The lane that is for you.
Right.
You don't wear a size 7.
Right.
You wear a size 9. You wear a size 10.
Right.
And those shoes fit your feet, not somebody else's feet.
Right.
Man, Jimmie, I'm so fired up about this
Right.
because we got to realize when we never stop believing in ourselves, when we never stop believing in the ability that God has given us, it catapults us into a new destination.
Yes, it does. And we have to really realize that the 10,000 hour rule, right? 10,000 hours. When Big Mama made fried chicken, she didn't put it in the fry daddy for 5 minutes and it was ready, right? She had to buttermilk it. She had to let it soak.
That's good.
Right? She had to powder it. She had to she had to give it some love and some TLC before it became fried chicken. Like, we're in this instant microwave generation. We want things right now. And it's difficult to get to where you want to be like that, right? But I do want to say that I want to go back to the accountability partner real quick, right? So Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player, right, of our generation, of our time.
That ever lived? Let me go and put that out. So it's Michael Jordan, and then it's my brother Gerard Ward second. I am an advocate for them two.
Right.
The greatest that ever lived. Okay, I can't really say that because I got to go back to Dr. J. But Mike,
right? So Michael Jordan didn't become the greatest, the GOAT, because until when? He aligned with Phil Jackson, until he aligned with Scottie Pippen, and until he got him a strength and conditioning coach. So even the greatest player of all time had to have somebody else to get him to become the GOAT, right? But we try to do it on our own, right? We try to figure it out on our own. Well, I just have one question. How's that worked out for you? How has doing it on your own for 20 years, how has that worked out for you? How has 45 years you've been trying to do it on your own? How has it worked out for you? Like, really, like, how's it worked out for you? Right? So, and I, like, someone out there right now, and I know that you're going through a real dark time. I know you're in a real bad place. I know the COVID uncertainty, just this world is in a bad place right now, collectively. But I want to tell you, though, that when are trees the most beautiful? Right? When they're dying. Right? That's when they're the most beautiful. And what they have to do is they have to shed all their trees in order to grow new ones. So someone out there that's listening right now, you may need to do some shedding of some leaves. But understand that why trees don't fall is because what you don't see is the roots that they're connected underground with other trees. That's why they don't fall. That's why they can stand the wind. That's why they can stand the rain. That's why they can stand a tornado, right, most times, right? Because the roots are connected, right? They deep-rooted with a deep foundation, right? Foundation being faith, right? They deep-rooted in foundation. They deep-rooted in belief, right? Because they never stop believing that I know my tree's going to fall off. I know that I'm in my dying season, but joy cometh in the morning.
I'm trying to stay seated.
Joy cometh in the morning, right?
Come on.
You look at the sun. When does the sun rise? The sun rises at the darkest part of the night, right? So keep shining, all right? Keep and right now you're going through hell. Keep going. I'm telling you, get some reward from your pain. All right, go get some reward for your pain. All right, like we alluded to earlier, have the faith of a mustard seed. All right, Dr. King says, take the first step when you can't even see the whole staircase. All right, and if you fall, all right, I know, like for me with my book, I thought I was gonna fall, but what I understood even back then, that if I fall, I'm gonna fall forward. You know why? Because when I fall forward, I'm still one step closer to where I need to be.
Come on.
Right?
Come on. And you said it so eloquent, right?
Right.
When you fall, because tests and trials are going to come.
Yes, absolutely.
It's to prune us.
Right.
We have to be pruned by the things in life, because there's no way in the world that, winter can go into summer and summer can go into spring and spring can go into fall with the same thing that was on it last year.
Right.
There's no way in the world that you could become the person that you are this year still thinking the same way that you thought last year.
Right.
See, last year you was that person, that mindset, that frame of mind that you were, that was last year. That worked out for last year. That same thing don't work out this year.
Right.
I can even say it like this. Who you were yesterday does not have any predication on who you are today.
Right.
Who you were yesterday was yesterday's you. Today's you has much more grace. Today's you has much more joy. Why? Because you made it through yesterday.
Right.
But I will say this, what you did yesterday is a representation of who you are today. And what you do today is the example of who you was yesterday. Do you hear what I'm saying?
I do.
Because yesterday you had to prune today's you.
Right.
And that's the reality of who Never Stop Believing is. That's the thing of what we're trying to say. Prune. Let the pruning process take place. Because if the pruning process takes place, then you can believe in yourself that I will succeed. You will believe that even if you get knocked down, you can always get back up. I've heard a philosopher say this: it is not that you get knocked down and you stay there. The beauty in it and the power in it is standing up.
Right.
I mean, this philosopher was great. She's absolutely amazing in wisdom. And the thoughts that she thinks behind this says, a person that continues to do the same thing over and over and over, expecting new results, is insane.
Right. Right.
So why do the same thing over and over and over, thinking that you're going to bring about change, and the only change that you brought about was nothing?
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
So we have to change the way that we think in order to get better results. When we change the way that we think, we change the clothes, we change the hair, we change the makeup, we change the haircut, we change everything about us, knowing that we're going to get a different result.
Right.
Meaning changing our mind to transform to the way things are supposed to be, not conform to the way things are. Every single day you have to make an adjustment. Every single day you have to adjust something in your life. If you want to be better for tomorrow, allow today's pruning to edify you. Allow today's pruning to catapult you into your next. Allow today's pruning to make you better. Don't go around having a sour look on your face saying, oh my God, this happened to me 20 years ago. I never got out of it. Well, stop living in 20 years ago and live now. That's what faith says. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Now faith drives us. Now faith give us hope for what we can't see, but we know is coming.
Right, right. And I do want to just go back to what you said. You can't let it define you. You shouldn't, I ain't going to say you can't. You shouldn't let it define you. You shouldn't let your past mistakes of yesterday define who you are today. Right? And we get into that rut to where, I'm going to say I got into that rut of where I thought my mistakes I made, then I brought it with me to today, and it's like, oh, I'll never be that because of what I did yesterday. All right. So you can't let your past mistakes define you. You have to understand that it's a process. Right? Life is a process.
Yes.
Right? I heard life is hard, right? It'll leave you physically, mentally, and emotionally scarred.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
All right? Life is very difficult. And it's designed that way to, like you say, so we can understand whose we are. Right? So we can understand that we have to have the faith that thing back then not going to define me today.
Come on.
And I like to say that if you don't have a used to be story,
come on,
you probably still are what you used to be.
Come on.
Right, so, but yeah, so I just want to talk real briefly, right quick, to someone that's out there right now. That's I know you see the polish, right? You looking on the camera, right? You look on social media, you see the polished side of it, but you don't see the dark nights. You don't see the up all night crying. You don't see the dark roads that we're journeying on. You don't see crawling on, just trying to make it, just trying to survive. And so you look at your life, and you may be in that space right now, and you have to understand that you're going to stand back up. You will stand back up.
That's right.
It may be done, and it's going to happen without you even realizing that it's happening. It's just something that's going to click in your unconscious that's going to say, get up.
That's right.
Right? Fall
that's
7,
right.
Stand 8. Right? Get up. Fall 7, stand 8. And just continue to get up. Continue to work the plan. Continue to work the process. And understand what your gifts are. And how do you know what your gifts are? It's that one thing that you do better than anybody else. That one thing people come to you for. Right? You may be the one people come to make sweet potato pie. Right? That's your gift. All right? Turn your gift, like you say, your gifts will do what? They'll make room for you. Right? So many times, and I had to learn this the hard way, is that I was chasing wealth. Right? I was doing stuff because I wanted to get rich, right? Get paid for it. But when I understood that, no, you can't chase wealth because you'll never catch it.
Come on.
We see a rainbow every day. Anybody ever saw the pot at the end of it? Never.
only on cartoons or in a movie.
Nobody's ever found a pot at the end of a rainbow. And there's a rainbow somewhere every single day. But when I started chasing my gifts, when I started being a service to other people, that's when things instantly changed. That's when I was able to stand up that 8th time.
When you start being a service,
yes,
a servant always gets the best.
Right.
A cheerful giver always gets the best.
Right.
So when people look at you and they say, oh, Jimmie got it all together.
Right.
Oh, Jimmie is all well put together.
Right.
They don't know Jimmie's story.
Right.
They don't know the sacrifice that Jimmie had to go through.
Right.
They don't know that Jimmie had to get out of Jimmie's way in order for God to show Jimmie who Jimmie is.
Right.
And I want to talk about this. You have this in your book. It's called the 7 C's. Capability, confidence, commitment, consistency, character, cost, and communicate. Let's talk a little bit about capability, confidence, commitment, consistency, character, communicate, and cost. What does that mean to you?
It's a combination of everyday life. It's a combination of things that you have to purposefully do every single day. All right. The only thing God promised us is life. So when we wake up in the morning and we open our eyes and we stand up, check our faculties out and everything good, God's day is done. The rest of the day is up to us to decide we're going to find joy in it, or we just gonna be mad and hate the world all day, right? And so those 7 C's, like, you have to have the capability to get up, right? You have to have the confidence in knowing that not only am I gonna get up, but when I step out in this world, God's gonna give to me what I deserve, what I've earned, right? The sweat equity that I put in through my commitment, right, is gonna bring that generational wealth to me, right? The cost that I put in, those late night, being up late, getting up early, writing one more chapter, right? All that cost is going to pay off in the end if I keep going, right? You just have to be committed to it, right? And then being able to communicate, right? Having open and honest conversations with yourself.
Yes.
Right. With yourself.
Right.
A lot of people look in the mirror and never see themselves.
Come on.
Right? A lot of people, every day they look in the mirror and not once ever make eye contact with themselves because they don't want to communicate the hard truths to themselves. And it takes that. Right? It took me to do that, like you say. This side of it, it looks good.
Right. It's polished.
I'm talking about filtered out.
Right.
Then blew it out with the iPhone camera. It's filtered out. Right. But deep down inside, it was an ugly thing. It was an ugly struggle. So when it comes to the 7 C's of success, it's just things that you have to be committed to doing every day. You have to pay the cost. You have to communicate. You have to love self. Right? You have to love yourself, and you have to understand that you have the capabilities of doing whatever it is in this world that you want to do if you have faith and you never stop believing.
That is awesome. The 7 C's. You have to be committed and consistent. You have to communicate with thyself. You have to love yourself. You have to understand that you have paid a price to be who you are. Matter of fact, a price was paid for you to be who you are.
Exactly.
And when we come back, we're going to talk about your why.
Okay.
Why you are who you are today.
Okay.
Why are you doing what you're doing? And how is the 7 C's affecting you?
All right.
Today's show is sponsored by earthblendcoffee.global. You can use the link in the description box below to place your order. We will be right back after the break.
Advertise on WeBelieve.global, a brand new digital media platform. Share your brand with our audience on our mini global live stream TV broadcast and over the radio. For more info, visit WeBelieve.global or call 800-492-5186, option 1.
welcome back to Never Stop Believing. I'm your host, Juanita Ward, and I'm here with my co-host, Jimmie Lucas. Jimmie, thank you so much thus far for being on the show, man. You are doing a superb job, and all that you're doing in your books, in your in your fitness, in your physical fitness, you are doing a fantastic job, and I'm so excited that I have you on the show, man. You have uplifted and encouraged me today, but I want to talk about this. I want to talk about your why. Why is Jimmie who Jimmie is today, and why are you doing what you're doing? You've taken us through the 7 C's and the characteristics of those and what that means to you from a real life perspective. Talk about why Jimmie is who Jimmie is. You mentioned about the roots and the tree. You're so solid in your foundation.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about Jimmie.
Well, so the easiest thing for me to tell you to be my why is for my children. Right?
Yes.
That's the most authentic answer to give, but it's not the true answer. All right, my children are the product of my why. Okay, my why is literally service. I grew up listening to, I say I'm a pastor child.
Yes.
All right, I grew up listening to a lot of T.D. Jakes, a lot of Creflo Dollar, a lot of Joel Osteen, and as I was listening to them, I was like I can't relate to them. Like, their messages were so profound and over my head that I got lost in the sauce and in the translation, so to speak. So it was like, you know what? God put it on my heart. Again, I'm not taking any credit. God put it on my heart and was like, you do it then, right? You do it for people that think like you. You do it for people that come from where you come from, right? You do it. You give them, because obviously if you're looking for you're looking for encouragement, you're looking for inspiration, you're looking for motivation, there are people that come from where you come from that are doing it also. And I'm not talking about just come from Terry, Mississippi. Right? I'm talking about that have a life of where they aspire to be different, right? Where they aspire something positive, they aspire something great for themselves, right? So that's my why. I do for free for them, right? And that's my talking to my mentor, right? Yes, I have a mentor. I have a coach myself, and talking to them, I was like, if it was up to me, I give everybody a book away for free.
Come on.
Right?
That's me.
Yeah, I just give them away, right? I just be like, bag a truck and you pull up, I give you a book, right? So, because I want to make sure that I'm able to reach and touch as many people possible across this globe that I can, to tell them that, yes, your life may be dark, but that's not the end of your life, right? There's a light at the end of the tunnel. So that's it. That's my why, is that ship, all those lost ships out at sea, I'm that lighthouse on the shore bringing them in, right? And we, during one of the breaks, we talked about that religion. Everyone is not religious, all right? Everybody, there may be those out there that don't believe in God or may have lost their faith in God, like I did. I did as young, when I was younger. And so my two main purposes is my two whys are to do this, to people that have a relationship with Christ, to get them to Christ, and that people that don't know Christ, to move them further from death, right? Which is two very distinctive things, right? Because there are people right now that they're ready to to die. They rather be dead than face another day in their life. So that's my why. That's why I do this, to bring them, to cross them over, give you just one more day, all right? Just give it one more day. All right, let's just focus on the here and now. Let's focus on today, and let's see where we can go with it. Like, let's see what happens. So if that's you, like if you're in your dark moment, like, again, all right, that's my why. My why, you are my why. All right, you can reach out to me, and we'll talk about that here shortly. You can reach out to me and allow me to be that lighthouse in that dark place that you're in.
You speak about helping someone see what they have inside of them. That's the seed.
Right.
In order for the tree to grow, the tree has to go through a metamorphosis.
Right.
And before that tree sprouts and breaks the surface into what we consider to be earth and what we consider to be freedom.
Right.
Before that tree breaks the surface, before that tree goes through all of the dirt that is piled on top of it, before that little sprout sprouts up, that tree has to go through a dying process. It's the metamorphosis process. That tree has to go through a pruning in order to get what's on the inside.
Right.
And the why is, why are we doing what we're doing? Is to get to the inside of you.
Right.
Why are you doing what you're doing? Is it to let other people see who you are? Or is it for you to save somebody else? you don't have to do this alone. You don't have to live this life alone and say to yourself, nobody else cares. Trust me, we do care. That's the reason why Never Stop Believing is for you. It's for you to see that somebody else has went through a pruning process. Somebody else has went through a waiting process. Somebody else has been through the trenches and we made it out. How did we make it out? Because we never stopped believing. When all was breaking loose, we saw to ourselves that, you know what?
Right.
Greater is he that's on the inside of me than he that's in the world.
Right.
When there is a vision that is placed inside of us, we have to understand that if we can be capable in understanding the commitment, the consistency, having the confidence to do things, yes, it's going to cost you something.
Right.
But guess what? When it costs you something, it's going to cause something to happen.
Amen.
We cannot have a cost without having a cause.
Right.
Because if we don't allow the cost to be the pruning factor for our cause, we never have transformation.
Yep.
We never have a understanding of the real purpose of why not to stop believing,
Right.
of why to speak life to ourselves and tell ourselves. You mentioned looking in the mirror. If you never look at you, how do you know what you look like?
Right.
If you never look at you, look at your eyes to see what you look like. I'm pleading with somebody today. Look at yourself in the mirror and say to yourself, I'm going to make it. I am a survivor. I have been through it. And because I've been through it, I am much better now that I'm on the other side. It didn't kill me. It didn't take me out. It didn't stop me. I may not look like what you want me to look like. I may not act like you want me to act. But guess what? I am the best original copy of who I am supposed to be because I never stopped believing.
Yep.
The 7 C's is so important.
Yes. And that's the key, what you said, right? I may not be who I am, but I understand whose I am, right? Versus I may not be who I am, but they say that I'm this, all right? We go through this, I'm just a, right? Or I'm just a secretary. No, you're not just a secretary. You're what God looks like if he was a secretary, right? You're not just a stay-at-home mom. You what if Christ himself was a stay-at-home mom, you represent what he would look like.
That's
right?
it.
And but see, this thing about like let's take this church for example. Right, the choir, you may be at a church where the choir is getting all the reviews and you person are holding the door and you like, well, I'm like, nobody telling me thank you, they're telling the choir thank you. So you go join the choir knowing you can't sing a lick. You can't hold a tune.
Come on, stay in your lane.
Right. Be the best door greeter that you can be.
That's right.
And that's where God will bless you in.
That's right.
In that space.
That's right.
Right. What it say about the talents, right? You have to be a good stewardess of what you have before
right.
you can get more.
That's right.
People I want a better job. I want more paying job. I want a raise. You complaining every day with the money you make, and God would never give you more while you
right.
complaining about what you
That's
have.
right.
Be a good steward of what you have, right? Be a good own the little that you have, and he will bless you with many. That's what the 7 C's is about. It's
That's
about
right.
walking you through that journey of how to be thankful and blessed for what you have in order to set you up for what's in store for you. All right,
right.
What's coming for you. All right, that's what the 7 C's is about.
That's right. You know, you bring me to this point. When we never stop believing in who we are, when we never stop believing in who God has created inside of us, it pushes us more into understanding and defining our character.
Right.
Our character is not based or predicated off of what someone else has said. Our character is predicated and based off of the pruning
Right.
that we've been through. Can you go through the fire? Can you go through the fire and come out not smelling like smoke? See, I know some boys that went through the fire and they didn't smell like smoke.
Right.
See, sometimes life happens.
Yes.
And it puts us in a frame of mind that we can say to ourselves, well, I don't act like this, I don't look like that, I don't dress like this, I don't dress like that. And so I'm not going to get that job because they want me to be a certain person or they want me to speak a certain way. You mentioned earlier, stop trying to create somebody else's wave and create your own.
Right.
You are the first person to walk through that door. You are the first person to hold that door open. You are the first person to have that vision. You're the first person to have that dream. You're the first person to set that goal. Why not be the first in your family to do something that's going to create history? Why not be the first in your family that's going to do something that's going to catapult you into the next dimension, into that higher level? Why not be that person? Because God sees you that way. God knows you that way. When you align your heart's desire to who God is inside of you. Yes, we're talking about inspiration. We're talking about encouraging. We're talking about motivating. Stop saying to yourself that they won't give me this opportunity because I don't look like this. Well, guess what? That opportunity is not yours and it's not for you. Being the person that you are supposed to be is so key. Walking and running in your lane, you receive the crown at the end. Everybody doesn't make it there at the same time.
Right.
That's the beauty about racing. I
Right.
know that there can only be one winner.
Right.
But guess what? If you finish, you are a winner.
Right.
I get it. Winning, everybody looks at that number one person. It's like basketball. Everybody looks at that one person that's scoring everything.
Right.
Everybody looks at that one person that's scoring, that has 30-something points. But here's the thing. What about the person that got the steal?
Right.
What about the person that was playing defense, that made that defensive stop? What about the person that grabbed the rebound?
Mm-hmm.
What about the person that was sitting at the end of the bench that brought the water to someone else? What about the person that was sitting on the bench that was cheering the loudest? What about the person that was in the locker room that was screaming and telling them, you can do this, you can make it? What about that person?
Right.
Be the best that you can be
Right.
at being the best that you were created to be.
Right.
What about that person?
Right. Right. But you go to a graveyard, you see the tombstones, and they have a born date and they have a death date. Right. Nothing is more important than that dash in the middle. Right. Who are you on that dash? Right. And I always ask people, I saw your last post. Right. Who are you between your last post and your next post?
Come on now.
I want to meet that person.
Come on now.
Let me talk to that
Come
person
on
for
now.
a few minutes. Right. Let me
Come
talk to the
on.
person. Right. So yes. So we have to get to a place in life to where that we are not afraid to be vulnerable in front of others, right? I call it invisible scars, but visible healing, right? We all have invisible scars, and we all seek visible healing, and that's the only way that we're gonna get through this thing together. Because we're put on this, it's called the body of Christ for a reason. It's not called the body of Jimmie.
And
Right.
you make a great point. It's called the body.
Right.
Jimmie, I'm so grateful for what
Right.
you have done and what you are doing. Man, keep motivating, keep encouraging, keep inspiring. How can we get your books? How can we get get in contact with you?
So the easiest way to do it, you can go on Amazon, or the easiest way is just to you can contact me on social media platforms, Jimmie L. Lucas, Jimmie with an I-E, on IG, Facebook, or YouTube, or you can call me. All right, 540-850-8490. I know I just gave my number out to 6 billion people. But
It's
there
all
you have
good.
it. I'm going to double down on it. 540-850-8490. If you need anything, if I can help you in any kind of way, you can call me.
Thank you so much, Jimmie, for being on the show. Thank you so much for having a platform with me of Never Stop Believing.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really, really appreciate you for being here. Thank you so much for today's show, for watching Never Stop Believing. I am your host, Juanita Ward. Today's show was sponsored by EarthBlendCoffee.global. You can use the link in the description box to get you some coffee. Thank you so much, and we'll see you here next week. This is Jay Ward, the Encourager. Never stop believing. I'm telling you, you have to believe it. It's inside of you. It's what you feel. It's what you need. It's what you do. If you can believe it, you can achieve it. Just keep going. Press your way through. Can you believe in what you can't see? There's so much more that's going on inside of you. And the seed that's inside of you, you have to water it. Don't you believe it? If you can press, if you can believe, I assure you, you'll never stop believing.
Do you have something to say? Do you want your voice heard? Join the WeBelieve.global lineup. Be the star of your own show. For more info, call 800-492-5186, option number 1.